Today we start on our track bed. We're actually doing some modelling, ladies and gentlemen. Fancy coming along? Good morning, good afternoon, and finally good evening. However and wherever you're watching this, hello and welcome to Malcolm's Way. My name is Matt. So from the intro, you may have guessed we are starting to look at our track base. Now, from a very early start on this, I did want the scenery to be multi-leveled. And as I referred to in the first video, I want the train set to be very much part of the scene rather than dominating it. Now to do this, I'm going to have to raise the track bed up off of the baseboard level. There's various ways you can do this. Woodland Scenics do some fantastic risers. I like the idea of doing it out of wood. So I'm going to be using a plywood top with some wooden risers underneath. Now this will allow me to fit my point motors underneath onto that board and for the wiring to go straight down and out of sight. But just how exactly are we going to do it? Well, in this video I will be covering how I've gone about making my track bed raised up from the baseboard level itself. Let's take a look at the items we are going to be using to make this track bed. Okay then, so what am I going to be using for the top of my track bed? Well, good old trusty 9mm ply. This stuff is quite strong, but it is going to need bracing underneath, and that is where our timber comes into play. Nice little simple risers underneath, and as you can see here I have a servo mount, and this is from Mega Points, which I'll be using on the scenic side of the layout. As you can see, these are roughly around that sort of size. Looking online, they are actually 50mm. Now to give myself a little bit of extra room, I have decided to make mine 80mm in total. It's actually given me plenty of room for any sort of motors and wiring I need underneath the track base to fit in that space really nicely. This also does have an additional bonus when I'm putting the switches in for the point work, so we can do the automatic control, or should I say the switches to change the points is not going to be automatic control. You know what I mean. For the point motors to work, we can use the space there to build a little control panel. Undecided yet whether these are going to be on each and every board. Remember, we have 3 of them, but eventually I probably will bring this into a self-contained unit on the middle board. But that is a lot later on in the video series. The plywood base, it will be needed to be braced, but I've got a confession, ladies and gentlemen. I can't cut wood for toffee. Even I got myself one of these. It should have been nice and straight, but it wasn't. My cutting abilities with a saw are next to nothing, so a trip to Dino's was in order to cut the spacers underneath. I wanted to make sure these are all the same size and they're all straight. This always helps with the running of the locos as the track goes round. Solid base, a well-built base, and the locos should run okay. It's up to your track work, of course, but it generally will help in the long run. Are there other alternatives? Of course there is. You can use the Woodland Scenics risers. Fantastic product, but I can see that working out quite expensive for what I need. And also, as I want to embed the point motors and the servo mounts around the layout, I was a little bit dubious about doing this because I wasn't sure just how strong that would work. You could also use, I don't know, polystyrene on there, but again, I wasn't sure of the long-term capabilities of that. With wood, once it's in and braced, it will not go anywhere. So then, let's go to Dean's and let's cut this wood. Okay then guys, so we have lots and lots of little spacers now for our track bed. These are all the same size. They're going to need sanding slightly, but these will work really, really well. And if I hold up the survey mount to the side there, you can see we still have plenty of wiggle room underneath for the wiring. We're all set now, we just need to get the drill out, but how good was that cutting of Dean? Big thank you, Dean. Really was a lifesaver. I don't think I would have been able to do that with the saw myself. As I have mentioned, I cannot cut wood. Alan, you'll only know too well about that from our weekends down at Swanage, doing the firing wood, but there we go. We can't be good at everything, and woodwork is something I'm not particularly good at. Let's see if we can get these screws put into here. I will be using these very little, tiny little brass screws. Without further ado, let's make a start on this track bed. Now we have all our wood all cut ready. Just about now drilling it into place. Let's take a look. 2 doors, which one goes to Narnia? Leave your answer in the comment section below. I know which one doesn't. I don't know which one that does. Come on, Tomsy, you're getting sidetracked. I'm quite good at getting sidetracked, but let's get these screws into here, simply using 2 on each side. And I have pre-drilled the plywood, just to make it a little bit easier for myself, a little less stress going through the plywood as we are drilling. Was it screwing? Whatever, let's crack on. There we go then, we've got all 4 corners in now, and now we can look at start getting some track onto this board just to see where we're going to need to put our next set of risers in. But this is solid as you like. The tripod is currently sitting on the board, so apologies if that did wobble a little bit as I was putting it in. Yeah, we're getting there now, we're getting there. Right, let's get some track out and we'll have a look to see where I need to put these next set of risers in. So you're going to see your first bit of track now on Malcolm's Way. This is not glued down or anything like that. No wiring's put in place. This is purely to see we don't have a clash with the point work with the risers, because we're going to have point motors underneath. Let's take a look. Okay then, please forgive the shakiness of this. I'm literally using my phone on a small little tripod. As you can see, we have 1 set of risers here, and then we've got a big gap underneath the layout, and I think we can get 1 in around here, 1 in here, that makes 2, and then possibly 1 in the middle here. But we might be able to get away with just having 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Obviously that'll be replicated on the other side. Yes, it is a proper railway room. It looks an absolute tip. But there we go. Let's get this started, and I will come back when we've done a bit more progress and show you what I've put on there. go then. Our track base is now ready for the next stage on the layout. I haven't screwed this down onto the main baseboard yet. The reason I haven't done that is because I want to be able to flip it over when it comes to doing the point motors. And once all the electrics and all that sort of gubbins is in and tested, this will then get screwed down to the main baseboard. But the next video, we will be looking either at the underlay system from Woodland Scenes, the track bed, or we'll be looking into planning the fiddle yard. I use a program called Scarm. Get 50 free items on there to use before you got to pay for a subscription. But it's a fantastic bit of kit, and you really can work out exactly what you can fit and what you can't. The channel is doing really well for a first starter. Over 40 subscribers now, I think, and lots of viewing time. So thank you so much for everyone that has taken the time to watch. Left a comment. I will reply to every comment I get, and it really does help spur me on to make more videos for you guys. But there you go. Please like, comment, and subscribe. All there's left to say is I've been Matt, and this has been Malcolm's Way, and I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.